Right. Hi guys. So I'm Campbell. This is going to be a bit of a new thing we're doing. It's going to be sort of like a talk show. As you may know, if you have seen this channel in the past, we cover a lot of stuff with VEX Robotics. So once again, I'm Campbell. I have competed for about 6 years. And in that time, I've also served as a volunteer in many different capacities. I have refereed at many V5RC tournaments and competitions. I have been a judge. I have acted as a mentor to a lot of different middle schools and a high school. Um, and yeah, so I have made most of the videos you've seen on this channel, and these are some of my co-competitors. So if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves,
Ladies first.
go
All
for it,
right,
Cam.
well,
Or, Aiden, yeah.
my name is Aiden Worthington. I am also I'm a first year in college, and I competed in high school for 3 years, and I competed in middle school for 1 year. I also have done, various refereeing for both high school and middle school over the years, and I also recently judged for my first event at a local middle school event. I've also done a bit of mentoring, um, especially like just my own middle school, and I don't know, I'm excited for this opportunity to share my knowledge.
I'm Cameron. Um, I did VEX for about 5 years. I did a little bit of refereeing, mentoring. Then these days I do a lot of like RC, small RC plane stuff.
I'm Ava, as it says at the bottom, but I I was a part of 7983A. I did robotics for 5 years, and I obviously competed with them through Centennial. And I'm a microbiology major here at BYU, and I've spent most of the season I think I've judged or refereed at almost every event in the Utah region. And so I've been a judge advisor. I was granted variance for that. And for both VEX IQ and V5RC. And I've been a judge at a lot of them, including Rumble and the Rockies. So yeah.
I totally forgot to mention. Yeah, I'm a chemistry and biochemistry major, soon to be a double major in math, and a minor in secondary science and math education.
And then I am a data science major at UC Irvine. Uh, no minors or double majors.
Aerospace major over here. That's it. Aerospace engineering.
Yeah, so we have, like we said, we've done we have quite experience in robotics, and so yeah, I was just hoping to share some of that. So hopefully, I want to try to make this more or less a regular thing, maybe with rotating hosts. But yeah, so this time, there's we're doing it this at sort of a weird time. So there's not a whole lot of news, but we're going to talk about some signature events, some Vex news. But yeah, I know that some like Ada and I we were judging at the same tournament recently, one of the last chance tournaments. But yeah, so if we want to, let's go ahead and get into some news. Cameron, do you mind if we do yours first?
Yeah, sure. So I found this. I was just looking at. I think I saw actually a YouTube short. But this kind of neat robot. It looks like from the company website. It's the um clone robotics proto clone is I believe what it's called. And it's just this kind of humanoid robot. It's one of those ones that you see all the time right now. It's supposed to like be able to do chores and whatnot for you. It looks like it's pretty early in development, but they released this honestly pretty spooky video of it just twitching, hanging from a ceiling.
Does it have
That
copyrighted music?
that kind of caught my eye. I'm not certain.
That's pretty loud.
But there's some early videos on the channel that have some pretty cool stuff on it. There's especially like with the articulation of the hands, it looks really interesting. Like it, could actually go somewhere. But at this state, it looks mostly scary. But
Yeah, and I will note
Yeah.
I did see this and like because the skin is like slightly see-through. I don't know
Yeah,
that
I think that's
it's
what
kind of
really does
terrifying
it
but cool.
is like the almost like yeah, has like how like it's almost translucent. It
Yeah.
really it's a little unnerving. It's right in that uncanny valley, but the technology is cool.
Mhm.
I watched this video by this physicist Angela Collier. I don't know if you guys know her. But she made a video on humanoid robots. She said something about like, yeah, I don't know if I would want, this 300-pound thing vacuuming and then all of a sudden it runs out of power and just collapses on me.
Be pretty spooky. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I saw this. This was a paper fairly recently, November 2024. And this is about an underwater robot for like seabed exploration. And it was super neat. They talk about it a bit in the abstract, I think, or introduction. I don't know. But they talk about how they're able to get like uh, almost a foot away from the seabed without disturbing and knocking up silt. I
Hmm.
just thought it was sort of cool because it's one of those problems that's like it seems like a relatively easy problem, and it's just some small design choices that can fix it. And it just sort of it reminded me of like the things that we employ in VEX. But yeah, it's super cool. So this is the
Absolutely.
paper. It's called a maneuverable underwater vehicle for near seabed observation. It's by Liu et al. Yeah, really neat if you guys want to read it.
That is
Um,
neat.
yeah. But in VEX news, I guess you could say switching over to VEX news, VEX has released an update to VEX code V5 called Switch.
Great
Um,
transition, Campbell.
huh?
It's a great transition.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Great.
Um, but yeah, so Switch is it's they talk about it a bit in here. It's meant to be bridging the gap between block coding and text coding. And I know that for us, like my middle school robotics teacher had us use text coding, and so I use C++ middle school all throughout high school, and then I for small projects I do now it's Python, but I will still use C++. But VEX released the VEX Code V5 after V5 Pro, I think. Maybe it was the other way around, but V5 is typically in blocks, like it's automatically in blocks when you open it up, and so it's meant to it's meant to be sort of an introduction to algorithmic thinking, right?
More
Where
approachable.
yeah, especially for younger people, like people doing VEX IQ or middle schoolers in V5 RC.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so they talk about it a bit in here, but what it's meant to be essentially is it's VEX V5 still, it's built in, and I can stream it in a second. Um, but yeah, so you're able to make a Python block and then switch it into what they call a switch block, which is just it looks like a block, but it has the text code written inside of it.
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't been keeping up with Vex very much, but I have been keeping up with this because this is super as just a tool for learning programming at a higher level. This looks amazing. Because a lot of people do learn in block code because it's simpler to teach, it's simpler to look at, it's more visual. Um, but ultimately it's there's less things you can do with it. You less like control you have over it than like traditional code. So I think having something we convert back and forth and so you can see how it would be done in text code is a great way to bridge the gap. I think this is a honestly quite genius idea.
yeah, and I don't know how here I'll share it. You guys can all see this, right?
Yep.
I
Okay,
can.
so I just made like a really quick sample of, just an easy block code. But yeah, all you do is just you can right click on it and then you can convert wrapper to switch block. And so now the whole if block, the if else, is now in Python code. And so can I switch it back? Ooh, I don't know if I can switch it back. But yeah, so this if block, all it's doing is this. And so when I had like controller one, less than zero or whatever, controller one position less than zero, it's got this controller one axis position. And so you can basically go line by line and teach yourself Python syntax, which is super neat.
I already
Yeah,
said it, but yeah, I think this is a really cool tool. The only like thing I can see with it is there's no real like incentive to use it, I would say. I'm not sure what's going to get people to do this, but I do think it's a really great tool for if you do want to learn Python syntax and like really how to, you know, go from block coding to, traditional coding. I think that this is a amazing tool for that.
I sort of get that, but I think that there will probably be self-driven students who recognize, I guess it's not a huge limitation, but like to make your own function, for example, right? You got to make your block and name it like drive forward or whatever. And then you add your input and you add all these different things. And it's like you can make your own function, but or make your own variable. It's just a bit more uh it's
Legwork.
it's less convenient in
Yeah,
blocks. And so I think the students that recognize that and recognize like function-driven programming and things like that, it's going to be a lot easier when you're able to just switch it into a block. And
Yeah.
yeah, they still sort of had this where you could uh, see
Mhm.
all the text code on the side like this. Um, but sometimes when I don't know, I didn't like this. Sometimes it would make mistakes and like be difficult to fix. It
Yeah,
seemed weird.
and I know also, so one of the teams that I helped mentor, sort of in senior year, um, they used like a lot of loose code that wasn't necessarily like put in because they wanted other implementations like future, or this was their past thing, so they just, you know, like had kind of a record of like remembering what they did before or what they want to try. And I don't know how well that would also translate into the code viewer. Uh, I mean, I don't know if it gets confused, but yeah, the code conversion thing is definitely not great.
Yeah,
And
it's
yeah, I want to say something else with the Switch is, yeah, I feel like for a lot of students, they don't really need the complexity that text code offers, but if you want the complexity, if you want to learn, then this is very much geared towards the people who want to learn. Um, and I think that's more of what's important because yeah, technically it doesn't really provide too much additional functionality.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I
but
fully agree. Is
yeah,
it?
but it
It's definitely a
definitely is
learning tool,
helpful.
not like a yeah, like a tool, as it were.
Yeah.
You're
Well, I
not
think part of the way they're advertising it too is like, um, for my experience, I think probably for you too, Cameron, is like our first introduction to computer science, programming was in robotics with programming a robot.
Robot C, yeah, which was not C++.
Yeah,
It was even goofier.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
so this is like it for students who, maybe robotics is not for me, biochemistry, like robotics is not what I'm pursuing long term, but computer science it's pretty much foundational in a lot of, oh, Aiden's lights are going on.
Hold on. Yeah.
Like computer science is foundational in a lot of things. For most professional fields, you have to have at least an entry level understanding of it. And so for
absolutely.
this, teaching more or less teaching students basic Python and Python syntax and rules like that, I think it's pretty neat.
I think it also helps like bridge the gap between like middle school and high school because I feel like I don't know, Worthington, like I remember like our eighth grade year, like so many people like at the competition were using like the Tetris coding. That's what we called
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
like I feel like I don't know, like it's kind of difficult to make the transition from, block coding to like just straight text. So I think it's helpful for like freshmen or even eighth graders that are like, hey, I'm curious about this, but my coach has literally no like no experience with coding because I feel like at least the middle school coaches that I've talked to, they're like, yeah, I have no idea about the coding. I feel bad that like, and anyhow, so I feel like this is a great resource for like students who don't have a whole lot of mentors that like know much about coding, and so that's kind of can help them kind of bridge the gap between those who just have exposure to it early on and just know. So,
Oh,
Yeah, and
definitely.
I want to add on to that. I feel like I've seen the same thing where like a lot of coaches don't necessarily know the programming. They don't know like the in-depth like technical stuff. But there are also a lot of coaches, both like middle school and high school, who, they obviously like have at least a little bit of a passion for, teaching robotics. So I think this is also from the coach's perspective, a great like teaching tool because it can help them like, 'cause the coaches are going to understand code, the block code, but they
Mhm.
might not understand the text code. So this could also be a way for them to, figure out.
Yeah, a lot of the coaches I've worked with, too, even recently, some of the newer coaches I met, uh, and I think it's probably more common in the area where we did robotics and competed. But for some schools, it's like, oh, well, we had a robotics program, but the coach left, and now we have no one with any experience. So, I guess they'll be the robotics coach. And like some schools will offer the training and they go through the RECF and VEX coach training, but still, I think
You're not quite there. You're not going to have that understanding that someone who's teaching comp sci and robotics like would have in
yeah,
those kind of areas. Yeah.
probably yeah, probably not. You wouldn't be at the depth that you would want to be able to teach this to students.
Mhm.
And so I think this is definitely going to be super useful to help them out. But yeah.
Yeah, I fully
Um,
agree.
what do we have next? Right. Rule changes.
Hmm.
So the most recent rule change was January 28th of this year, 2025. And that is version 3.0 of the rule book. So I think this is probably going to be one of the last rule updates, but
Likely, yes.
it was a good one. It was some
Very
decent
good one.
updates. Let me see if I can. All right.
Mhm.
We can, whoops. We can all see that.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, some of them are more definitional. Uh, we've got like SC5C mobile goal base should be breaking the plane at the corners. They've removed a few rules that may or may not change strategy at this point in the year. Yeah, do any of you want to talk about any of these or like any that you know of that you think are going to change the game or at least could spark interesting strategies?
Well, I know I'm like personally very excited about this because there are three specific rules so that I have noticed. So the first is the little second bullet point, which is allowing to robots to climb while holding a mobile goal. So this is one of like when they first revealed the game manual. This was one of the big criticisms I had was it made it to where you had to choose between climbing or holding a mobile goal. Because if you drop the mobile goal, your opponents could put it in the negative corner, right? They could, somehow descore the reams or whatever, right? Uh, this I feel like incentivizes teams to not only like guard their goals but also to climb. So I feel like it's just overall a really healthy change. The another one is hold on, I need remember. Oh,
Didn't they?
it's just the third bullet point. Uh, was the on the like ladder. Um, is it called the ladder? I
Yeah.
can't remember. Yeah, okay, on the
Uh,
ladder, the top ring. I always thought, it wasn't there wasn't much of an incentive to put it on there, which they did help change a few rule changes back, where they made it to where if you like if let's say you're on the red alliance, there's a red ring on that top uh stake, then on that high stake, then each climb is worth 2 additional points, which I thought was a very healthy change. But they also made it to where now rather than the top ring being worth 3 points, it's now worth 6. So I feel like that's also a very positive change because once again it inspires more people to climb.
Yeah,
Um,
it looks like with these rule changes, they really are trying to incentivize climbing with things like
yes.
how you said, like they deleted the you can climb with a mobile goal, which gets rid of that choice if you can carry both. They also increase the time that positive corners are protected, which gives you more
Mhm.
time to climb. If you can't carry a goal while you're climbing, it makes it so you can have like put your goal in a safe place if you're holding one and then go climb. And then
Yeah,
yeah, with the updates to the ring sport, it looks like that they really are trying to incentivize climbing,
yeah, and
which I think
I will say
is
there were previous before this rule change, there were like a couple of teams that were like doing 1 or 2 stage or 3 stage climbs, but the teams that had the like really tall climbs, they wouldn't use it very often because it was like you literally needed the full 15 protected seconds. And if anything like got in your way, you weren't going to be able to do it. And those teams were the only teams that did it were either teams that were a little either overzealous or the very top, like super strong teams. So I think um, at the highest level, at in finals of worlds, it's likely to be that they will only need like 15 seconds to climb. But I like this 30-second change because you even if you can't climb, you can do more things. But also, if you have a very slow climb, but it still works, you are still able to utilize that like part of your robot.
without like losing your protected goals, which is
Yes,
I
yeah,
think a good change.
yeah,
I do
because
think the change to SC7 though is potentially, I won't say unhealthy, but like it is I could see how like just imagine, the best team out there, right? They score all of their rings, all their mobile goals. And so it's 45 seconds left in the match, and they're just hanging on the top rung with their mobile goal, and no one can touch them, and no one can descore that mobile goal. And it's sort of like, oh, well, that sort of sucks now.
Yeah,
Uh,
we could see something similar to what was the game with mobile goals?
over under.
tipping point.
Over
Or no, no, no. Yeah, tipping point. Yeah.
tipping
Yeah.
point, yes. Where we had almost that like turtling strategy, I was called, as you just grab
Mhm.
two mobile goals and sit in a corner. I could definitely see this happening. But how many mobile goals are you allowed to carry this game? I don't remember.
Only
Just
one.
one.
Only one. I think that helps minimize that problem, but I could see that becoming like a strategy where you and your lines partner both just grab a mobile goal and go to where you can't be,
Yeah,
stuff one or two in a positive corner and then take two more up in a mobile goal. Now the other team's locked out.
yeah.
I
Ava's
But
definitely
I
think
laughing
it
at
could end
us
up
right
being an
now.
issue.
hmm?
Ava's totally laughing at us right now.
Yeah, I think she might have had someone else enter
Yeah.
the building.
I will note though, I feel like how many mobile goals are there? There's seven,
Five?
right? Five? Dude,
Is it? Let me find the
is it?
field.
Yeah, I can't remember this. How many?
Because there's three on the
I don't think we had a
Oh, there
fourth
non-audience
there's
side.
five.
person deeply knowledgeable of
Five.
the game.
Okay, there's five. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like I don't know if I'm mixing it up with tipping point or whatever. Um, but I do feel like ultimately I think the SC7C I think it's a positive change because I feel like if you're in the position where um you have control of the mobile goal and are like are climbing with it as like a quote unquote turtling strategy, I feel like you're already in the position to win. Um, and I feel like that it this rule change like further makes it maybe a bit more swingy, but I think it's a positive change. I
That's,
can see how it would be a negative change, and maybe they'll address that. Normally, they have one last little rules change right before Worlds, but
I mean,
yeah,
I think
ultimately, we'll
that's,
have, we'll have to see how it goes in upcoming
yeah,
tournaments. I mean, Sig events are done now, right? Uh,
yes,
but
it's
I think it's something where we're just going to see how it goes, how the meta shifts.
yeah. I
Um,
think the earliest like regionals slash state events are like happening right now, so that'll be happening for like the next like 3 or 4 weeks.
which also means the US Open is soon. I know that I
Yeah,
have some teams going to the US Open.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's gonna be fun. I mean, even though it's not like it's it's pretty much a chance to show off, but I think
Yeah.
it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Um,
US Open is a very interesting event.
but yeah,
I
speaking of signature events, I have the list of all the recent ones open. Um, that was Sugar Rush that I was just looking at. Where's Rumble in the Rockies? That was 29/30. Here it is. And so Ava, like she mentioned, she actually judged at this one. Um, and I notice, oh, where did it go? Oh, maybe it wasn't
that's
at this event.
no, that was middle school. Just I mean, I don't know if you were looking at high school
Yeah,
before.
yeah, that's middle school because I don't recognize those teams as well. I was like looking, I was like, I haven't seen
Oh, is
this.
there oh yeah, I see that. Where's
Yeah.
is there not a high school one?
Yeah, there
There
is.
was a high school one. I think it might have been at a different date,
Yeah.
like not the same weekend.
Yeah, it must have just been it must not be up here yet then.
Huh.
Wait,
That's
go
a
on
little
to
outdated
robot
then.
events.
Huh?
You can get on robot events you can get them.
Okay. It it doesn't matter right now, but I was just gonna look at some of the some of the big teams, the names that everyone knows.
The ace there.
Yeah, Ace, Juggernauts, and BarkBots all
Yeah.
competing at one of the first signature events of the year, and all doing fantastic. Ace, I think this was their first excellence award of the year at this one.
Juggernauts
Yes.
are like juniors right now because last year they were like sophomores or something like that. I remember.
I think they're seniors this year. I know they had one senior though. I'm pretty sure the senior was the one who made the app, Robo Scout. Um, and then I think they graduated. But I think they're almost all seniors now, unless there's like a couple juniors or something. 'Cause I know they cycle through members.
It is pretty interesting that they got tournament champion, but they got judges award.
Yeah.
So there must have
Add
just
it
been a
up.
lot of tough
I would have loved to
deliberation in
be in
there,
that judge's room.
right?
The room.
The room where it happens.
In the competition, and then it's like they qualify for excellence, but it's just like they don't even make the list for the top interview. So it's like
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see.
wild.
Where's the
Yeah.
next one?
Imagine winning the tournament and then just getting judge's award.
Yeah. It's kind of funny though. You
Yeah,
have to
I
admit.
mean, some teams are really good at one thing and not good at another. You know,
Yeah.
it might have been a notebook problem, it might have been an interview problem. It's yeah, hard to say without being in the judges' room.
It could have been neither, and there were just
Yeah, it
teams that
could.
were distinctly better. You never
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it could just be that they wanted Juggernauts to get an award, and it's just like, very, very close stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that they tend to all show up at the same events.
Yeah, well they show up to the large signature
Yeah,
events, the
the
ones that
big
are super
ones,
popular.
Speedway, Sugar Rush, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that they paired together at this one. Both of them won.
You know,
Have you guys seen Ace's Robot?
I have not. Oh
This
wait,
was
maybe I have.
this was their early season reveal.
Season. So
Oh, this is it.
we can
Oh
assume
yeah,
it's
the early
changed.
season.
It's
Yeah, I've
changed
seen the
quite a
early
bit since
Yeah,
then.
season.
it's changed a bit. They don't have their newest one up.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel
they'll
like
probably
that's a
release
very
it.
general, like, you know how like there's always that classic robot design. I feel like that one has just stuck for a lot of teams.
yeah,
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 this
it
is
it does.
I mean I know they put a lot of time. This is pretty incredible for before State the
Yeah,
Mall.
yeah. See, Mall of America is like one of the like second tournament of the year or something.
The
Yeah,
Juggernauts. This is them.
they look like babies.
Wait, their most recent one is from Spin Up.
yep.
Yeah, no, they don't keep up with their thing at all. They did
Oh
have,
man,
I think they had a Pits and Parts interview. Um, which love Pits and Parts. Pits and Parts is great.
Space Pandas were at Speedway. Got Inspire.
Yeah,
They
Space Pandas
were.
are interesting.
I think Cameron didn't. I think we competed against them at Hollywood.
Hollywood. I believe we did. I think I saw BarkBots a couple times here on
Yeah,
Mesa. I think they were at Hollywood too. Um,
Yeah,
was BarkBots at this? Oh, they were at this one too.
mhm. Yeah.
BarkBots actually was rank one in in rankings at the NorCal signature, which
I don't think
is
those results are
I
posted
I
yet
think there's
either.
I think
yeah, they're
there's
not
prob
posted on there yet, but
I think there's probably still a BarkBox sticker on one of the toolboxes back at in our old robotics high school room, sure.
Oh, they also had a hit
yeah.
supports. And their most recent
Hey,
is from Over
also,
Under. Come on, guys, let's stay up to date.
hey, if
We're,
you're gonna be this role model team, you need to act like it.
right.
We need to be able to talk about you, so you need to post.
Yeah,
Look
you
up
need to
their
leech off
Instagram.
of your accomplishment.
Absolutely.
And then some of these middle and high school. I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys know any of the teams at the Southeast Asia events?
Maybe.
I'm not familiar with a lot of them.
You should definitely pull up
Uh,
Rumble in the Rockies, though.
I
High
think I've
school.
heard
I
of
don't
I
know
think I've
any of
heard
those.
of China Long before, but um I'm not super familiar. Like I said at the very beginning, I have not been keeping super updated with VEX. I've been doing a lot
Yeah,
of RC plane stuff. That's kind of my world right now.
yeah,
The
I would
Um,
road pony.
know.
but I definitely heard a couple of these names before.
And then Apollo 1, I think they show up at a few events. Let's see. Rumble in the Rocky was January.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was late January, right?
Capybara.
Yeah, it was.
I do remember
Yeah,
Capybara.
Did we compete
yeah.
against them? Yeah, I thought we might have.
That might have been state and not Vegas. I'm not sure. No, they're in Fremont, so it wouldn't have been state. At least not recently. It might have been state 2022, but
It could have been. And then not bolts I recognize.
Pangolin. I think my team ran up against them in at Worlds
I
last
thought
year.
I, I thought I heard about a pangolin at
I
some point
just saw
too.
them.
The name rings a bell, but nothing more than that.
I wonder if we can see their skills run.
Maybe.
Oh, and
17022
Bulgogi,
A.
I remember them as well. I remember seeing them at Worlds. Yeah, they had a good reveal last year, but I don't know about this year.
Looks like a match point for spin up stuff.
Then the Asia Open, and then Sugar Rush. This is the one where Ace got another excellent. What is that? Their third excellence at a SIG.
Yeah.
Um,
There's like Catalyst, Bannerang.
Nova's
Nova
there.
and Armageddon. I recognize them. I know we haven't competed against them, but 81A, I
Yeah,
recognize
yeah.
that number.
Vexman has a lot of good teams. They're one of the bigger organizations that has good teams.
Which one was this? Sorry, I didn't see the name. Kalahari.
Oh, Kalahari.
Gateway to the West.
I think this is a new one, right? I think this was a new one. Yeah, West Virginia. I don't know if this one was.
Bryadelphia. That's an awesome town name.
Yeah.
The Pacer
Pacer
Test.
test.
I
That's a
like that name.
that's a funny name. I haven't
Oh,
They
heard that
definitely
before.
did get the sportsmanship award.
uh, Redwood. The Redwood
Oh,
Robotics. They've been a consistent team over the past couple of years. They've been doing very well. Yeah.
Saratoga. I don't recognize
Yeah.
them.
I don't
They're like the only. Well, I might be lying, but I'm pretty sure the only team in Saratoga. That's like actually goes to events. And yeah, I've seen them pop up a couple times. I think they
no.
did.
know it's back down there again.
Think they did really well at state last year. Like they got like finalists or something.
So I
I'm
recognize
cool.
98548P and 98548N, but the other, oh, same thing with 98548.
I
Wait,
really
this is
enjoy the
the
really
Nighthawks. Don't we know them?
Do you?
No,
It's a
there's a
I've never.
different
similar
Hawk.
it's a similar number though.
It's a
That
very
was
similar
weird.
number. Yeah, I can pull up the actual number.
Supernova showed up, I see.
I'm really
Innovative.
liking the name Zamboni and Vexalicious up there with design using the
Delicious, yeah.
champions.
Yeah,
I'm
the
I'm gonna point
Nighthawks
that out.
we know are 93535.
I
Oh,
know
okay.
more of the high school ones for the signature event, but yeah, that's what
3177. They don't have a team name.
Oh, 3177. Yeah, they've been doing pretty well. It always annoys me though. Yeah, 'cause they don't have a team name. Err.
Do they not care?
But
Where's the flavor?
What do you mean? Our school was just Centennial Cyberhawk, so
That's true, actually.
Well, okay, yeah, but that's like a quote unquote
At
organization.
least
That
Cyberhawks. And our robot was always named. It wasn't on the website, but it was named.
yeah, but most people, whenever they look you up, it's just like, oh, dang it,
Yeah,
they can never spice it up.
Dublin,
that's true. Oh, yeah.
a friend of mine went to school in Dublin and he didn't realize like how good their robotics team was. He was like, "Oh, I think that my school has like we've got a robotics program. They go to a lot of events." And I'm like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good." Um
Just do a couple events.
Spartan
Dublin,
Button Bumping
California,
Bidoof.
by the way.
I like that name.
love the Pokemon inclusion.
Yeah. And then Boogie Woogie again at launch.
Yeah, and I will note they're who they paired with in the tournament full circle. They also did very well at all the excellence or at all the signature events. They won a total of 4 awards at excellent at
Wow.
why do I keep saying excellent? At signature events. So they're another
WT40.
yeah.
That's another funny. Once again, Inspire Award. That's awesome. Ad Victorium, isn't that like a right above the other one? Isn't that uh
Advertorium.
I don't know. That feels like Warhammer 40K adjacent.
Lots at Bristol. Another one where Supernova did fantastic.
I'm seeing
It's
Lemon
actually a
Lime.
Fallout reference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's the Brotherhood of Steel, right?
I have no clue. I just
All
looked
right,
it up.
nerds. We're talking about robotics right now.
Yeah, that's right. I'm seeing the name Lemon Lime show up quite a bit. I feel like I've seen that a couple times. Um,
Yeah, I don't recognize their team, but they have come to a lot of events this year and they're doing really well. They've gotten Innovate, I think that's twice.
From Wisconsin, so I mean,
Lemon Lime.
I know I don't
Oh,
think.
this
Oh wait,
one's
no, there
pink.
was a good Wisconsin team before, wasn't there? I think they graduated. Who was it?
I mean, if they got Think Award and
They
Innovate, I
got
wonder if their Innovate submission is for their coding.
they got Think and Sportsmanship at this one
oh,
event.
Wait, what? Oh,
Right?
wait. Oh, yeah, because sportsmanship it. Okay, yeah.
it's goofy. It's
And
goofy.
then
Yeah,
Innovate. Yeah, so they got Think twice and Innovate. Oh wait,
I
no.
think I think Ava's probably right then. If they have Innovate and think it probably their Innovate probably was for coding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
because it's
seems.
like common.
I'm sure they must be doing something interesting then. I'm excited to. I might look into that because that
Yeah.
seems. That seems like it might be
I need to
something.
watch some of these events. I need to like
Need to
see their
lock
finals.
in.
mhm.
Voltage. Is this the first one Voltage was at? Nine
Oh,
what is this
yeah, it
called?
looks like it.
Mecha Mayhem. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
And they did awesome. Skills champion and
Yeah, I wouldn't
excellence.
be surprised if they're just a really strong team, but they live in British Columbia, Canada, so there's not a ton of events close to them.
Oh, that's true. They probably they probably go to
Yeah.
Canadian events.
I will say though, there's a lot of Ontario teams that come down to US
Yeah.
events. Like you'll see a bajillion on
Control Z, I
Ontario.
think we saw them earlier. They have done decently this
No, this is a different Control Z.
is
I,
it is it
I'm
is it
This
it's
one
a
actually?
different
is from
Control
also.
Z.
This one's also
Oh,
from Canada, so I think it probably is a different one.
No, the other one though, they just they did well at some of signature events. But they're not called Control Z anymore. It's still the same organization though.
and then once again, Ace going all the way up to Canada from Florida.
Wow. Along with Jackson Area Robotics.
And
That's another relevant team.
first full circle got Build Award.
Yep.
Yep.
It's good to see these guys. And then I think, yeah, that's the most recent one up to date. So yeah, it doesn't have the NorCal signature event. Or Hollywood typically happens at this time, right?
I
Maybe
don't think there is Hollywood this year.
they
I
just
don't
didn't
believe
post it,
so. I feel like
Yeah,
I heard that
I
they
don't
somewhere.
keep
remember it. Yeah.
all the cool events they keep removing.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
it would have been.
Las Vegas, Hollywood.
I'll have to look out and well,
They
I'll
were
have
to
to try and
Vegas
set up some
too.
more in my area because there's no cool robotics events near me. I have to
I know.
Look
drive
at
so
Utah.
far.
Actually, okay, I said I know, but there is actually a lot of good tournaments near me, but I don't have a car, so that makes it a little hard. But yeah,
Yeah, so I'm thinking, what is left now? Just regional events and the U.S. Open. I'm sure there'll be other opens.
Opens and then
Um,
worlds.
Not
Yeah,
that anyone
yeah.
cares about the Canada Open.
yeah, I know that for the Utah region,
Ace will
Davis
win that
School is
too.
like the very last one. It's kind of like the last chance for Utah. So it's like, so I was just in charge of the remote interviews for that. But then after that, for V5, it's just now state on March 15th, right? Or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
for high
thing
school.
as you guys. So
Yeah, I'll be judging for California State this year for high school and middle school.
are you gonna do remote stuff? Because I'll be
I
doing.
do. I unfortunately the day of state I have a chemistry final because they do lab finals on Saturdays.
I
Oh,
should look
lab
into that.
finals? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yikes.
and I talked
Mhm.
to Mr. Smith about it and I got him on board so there will be a couple BYU people also doing remote judging.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need more because I know that some people are going to be they're going to be referees. They won't be able to judge.
And also there will be some conflicts too, because I feel like most people for judging they have some connections to Centennial, so it's good that at least
Mhm.
people who have no idea what Centennial is other than the fact that went there. So it's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
and
obviously
maybe
they're
they hate you, so
and they're gonna make sure that like all of them get all the judged awards and everything. So
mhm,
Yeah, well,
definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, hopefully at our next one, depending on when we do it, we'll be able to talk about the Open, the final signature events, and then Worlds. We can start speculating as to what the next game is going to be and how much water it will
Ooh,
include.
So
yeah.
much water.
This will be the year.
should
This
we
will
watch
be
the game reveal together?
that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that would be hype.
we could
Absolutely.
totally
That
do
sounds like a
like a
great
live stream.
idea.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That
Yeah,
sounds
And
like a
look
great
over,
idea.
and we could do a game, the manual analysis.
yes, yeah. I think we should
That's where
That
I
definitely
would
do
shine.
that's
that
actually
because
that's probably even better.
especially because a lot of the teams that I've worked with, they need some help on their game analysis. So we're gonna
Yes.
talk a bit about that and how to look at the game. In
Yeah,
my
and
And if
I
you
will note of the notebooks I read of like at the event, like the teams that won the awards at the event we judged, the ones that did super well, they had really good game analysis. So I don't
Yeah,
one-to-one
well that's
correlation, perhaps.
It's
like
definitely an important part of the notebook.
with the
Yes.
criteria, it's like all of your design choices, they have to tie back specifically to why did you make this choice? How is it going to help you score? How is it related to the game? And so it's
Yeah,
just
I
one of
mean,
the
Yeah.
things that teams miss out on.
yeah, I mean the criteria is set up so the foundation of your obviously the foundation of your design should be based on the game and therefore game analysis. And so
Yeah.
if you have a bad game analysis, then how you tie the rest of your design to your game analysis is also going to be bad, and that really is going to undermine your entire notebook. Because other than that, what's the
Mhm.
notebook for?
I think it
Like,
would be good to kind of break it down, just like kind of model it, kind of like have someone have like I don't know, like a Google Docs or Word, probably just Google Docs, and like just kind of outline, okay, like this is kind of how you should analyze it in a way that like helps you in like organize your notebook. Because I feel like that's
Mhm.
one thing is that a lot of teams just struggle with getting started and how to actually start on a good foot. Because if you start, I guess, badly, it kind of trickles into everything else. So it's like if you don't have a
Yeah.
solid start, most judges like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to create a really solid design and like come up with really good like design matrices and stuff like that and like go through the other steps if your initial identifying sections are terrible or
Mhm.
they just aren't very thorough because how are you supposed to address challenges when you don't actually have any challenges to face? So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Hopefully, if we do like a game analysis, Ava, I definitely want you there because your notebook is just unparalleled.
actually,
Um,
I would love to go back and look at the notebook and go through everything that's wrong with it.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was just talking about at one of my last competitions. Um, I was just thinking about our notebook from senior year because it was our best notebook that we had ever made, and still I look back on it and I'm like, when I'm mentoring teams or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, so like here's some examples, and I'm like, this though, that's ugly. That's not fantastic.
We should
I
do
don't know what
that.
I was doing when I made that.
Yeah, definitely one of you guys should
It
get
was
one.
probably you probably
Get
pro it was one of the things we probably did at 3 o'clock in the morning, to be honest.
But like we should someone should get the notebook because I know it's in Mr. Smith's off. So like someone should
Yeah.
get it and then like screen share it while I go through, okay, like this was good, but this is how you should improve it to kind of show like first of all an example of it and also how you can improve. Because I think that's one thing is that it's like it's one thing to tell teams how to do it and it's another to show how it should be done and kind of how it can improve. Because if you show them a
Yeah.
perfect
Mhm.
notebook, then like they're just gonna copy it. But if you show,
Yeah.
And then at
yeah,
that point, you're not learning anything. So what's the point?
Yeah. And I will say I really liked certain aspects of my own notebook, but other aspects were like absolutely terrible. And I feel like personally, if I had like another year, I would have learned from that. And so I feel like uh I feel like there is a lot to learn from both like your successes and the failures. And maybe help people to actually like realize those mistakes and those like potential like high successes before they graduate and
Yeah,
can't change any of it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they compete in Vex U, of course.
yeah, of
Don't give
course.
it a
Yeah.
vex you, kids.
Do,
Don't do that.
does VEXU even have
I
awards though?
I know of XU team. It's a bad
I
idea.
I talked
Who
to
do you,
this one gal who refs now, just like every once in a while in Utah, and I remember talking to her like, cause she did Vex U for 1 year right after high school, and she was like, never do it. Like
No,
she's
if
like,
you're
if you hate sexism in robotics in high school, imagine it 10 times worse, unhinged. And I was like, you know
Well,
what?
that's one of the things that we got to work to resolve.
if you like robotics and you're in college, don't do VEX. Do actual robotics.
That's
Uh,
fair, yeah, because mo
Build
most
RC airplanes.
yeah most
The combat
Uh,
universities will
robotics.
have like a drone program or
yeah,
rocketry, things like that. That's super
absolutely.
or
neat.
battle bots?
Or
Yeah,
battle bots.
There's a bunch of little battle bots like scenes at my school. And then also like
I know there's a big scene in like the Bay Area, lots
yeah.
of California. I don't know if, how big it is where I'm at. I haven't heard anything, but yeah, there's little leagues everywhere. I mean, you see, clips of NHRL all the time.
Yeah.
There's tons of those, and colleges compete at them all the time. So,
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully we can do this soon and yeah, make it a regular thing. But yeah, and then I'll look forward to Worlds. It's gonna be super awesome.
mhm,
And
absolutely.
yeah, so we will catch you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.